The sky was dark. Heavy rain poured down on the small streets of the city. 13-year-old Ali held his old school bag close as he walked home. His shoes were soaked, and cold water ran down his back. But he didn't complain. He was used to this. Ali lived in a poor area. His home was far from his school. Every day, he walked through muddy streets and crowded roads to study. He dreamed of a better life. His mother always said, "Only education can lift us, Ali." As he reached a quiet bus stop near the main road, he noticed something strange lying on the ground. It was a brown leather wallet, half buried in the wet mud. Curious, Ali bent down and picked it up. The wallet was heavy and soaked from the rain. Ali looked around. No one was nearby. The streets were empty except for a few cars passing by. He stepped under the broken bus shelter and carefully opened the wallet. His eyes widened. Inside were neat bundles of money, credit cards, and a few business cards. The cash looked like more than he had ever seen. Probably tens of thousands of rupees. His hand shook a little as he held it. Ali's stomach growled. He hadn't eaten since morning. At home, they had no gas, and only half a packet of flour was left. His school shoes were torn from the sides. His mother hadn't bought a new dress in years. For a few seconds, he just stared at the money. But then he remembered his mother's voice. "We are poor, but we are not thieves." Ali took a deep breath and wiped the wallet with his wet sleeve. He pulled out one of the business cards. It read, "Rahman Malik, CEO, Malik Tech Flood." Ali had heard of Malik Tech before. It was a big tech company. People said the owner was one of the richest men in the city. He owned cars, buildings, and his face sometimes appeared in newspapers. Ali looked at the ID card in the wallet. It was the same man. A serious face, expensive suit, and now his wallet was in Ali's hands. He could take the money. No one had seen him. No one would know. It could feed his family for a month, maybe more. But Ali shook his head. "This is not mine," he whispered. "I didn't earn this." He closed the wallet and placed it carefully inside a plastic bag he found near the bin. He folded the bag and put it deep inside his school bag. He decided he would return it the next day. He would find this man, this Rahman Malik, and give it back. Just then, he heard a car engine nearby. Ali turned his head. A black SUV slowly rolled up to the side of the road. It was long, shiny, and looked very expensive. The windows were dark, completely black, so he couldn't see who was inside. The engine kept running, but no one stepped out. Ali froze. His heart started beating fast. Why was the car stopping here? Did someone see him pick up the wallet? Was someone watching him? The SUV didn't move. It just stayed there, quiet, powerful. Ali clutched his school bag tightly. Rainwater dripped from his nose as he stared at the car. Seconds passed. The car door did not open. Ali slowly took a step back, then another. He didn't run. He just walked away, carefully, without turning his back to the car. He crossed the road and entered a small lane near his house. He looked back once. The SUV was still there, parked in the same spot. Engine running, windows dark. Ali reached home, but he couldn't stop thinking about the car. Why did it stop? Who was inside? And did they know he had the wallet? Ali entered his small home, soaking wet. The sound of rain hitting the roof was loud. The room was dim, with only a small light bulb flickering in the corner. His mother, Razia, sat by the window, stitching a torn piece of cloth. "Ali," she said, looking up, "you're wet. What happened?" Ali just shrugged, trying to hide the wet school bag behind his back. His mother had been busy with housework all day. The past few weeks had been tough for them. There was never enough money for food or bills. "I'm fine, Mom," Ali said, trying to smile. But the smile didn't reach his eyes. He was worried about the wallet and the black SUV. Razia looked at her son with concern. "Come here," she said softly. "Let me get you a dry shirt." Ali nodded and went to his small bed, dropping his wet bag on the floor. As his mother reached for a clean shirt, Ali looked out of the window. The rain didn't seem to stop. His thoughts were still on the wallet. It was sitting in his bag, like a heavy secret. He had barely touched it after finding it. The idea of returning it tomorrow was strong in his mind, but the temptation to take the money kept pushing him. He tried to shake the thought away. "We are poor, but we are honest," he reminded himself again. His stomach growled loudly, pulling him out of his thoughts. Razia turned around with the shirt. "Did you eat today?" she asked. Ali didn't answer. He knew his mother was already tired of hearing him complain about hunger. "We didn't have anything to cook," she added, looking at the half-open cupboard where there was nothing but empty cans and a small jar of sugar. "But I'll go out tomorrow, get some flour for bread." Ali nodded, but he could see the worry in his mother's eyes. She tried to stay strong for him, but Ali knew she was getting tired. Her hands were always tired, from cleaning, cooking, washing, and then fixing things in the house. She handed him the shirt, and he quickly changed into it, still feeling the emptiness in his stomach. "That's better," Razia said, smiling at him. "Now let's see if we can find something to eat." Ali didn't want to tell his mother about the wallet just yet. If he mentioned it, she would only worry more. And he didn't want her to feel bad for not having enough money for food. As she looked through the cupboard again, Ali quietly took the wallet out of his bag. He stared at it for a long time, trying to decide. His hands trembled slightly. He opened the wallet once again. The money was still there, hundreds of bills folded neatly. His finger ran over the business cards inside. One of them had the name Rahman Malik printed in bold, along with the title CEO, Malik Tech Hiflud. CEO. The word stood out like something too big for a boy like Ali to touch. Ali slowly shut the wallet and put it back into his bag. He couldn't keep it any longer. Tomorrow, he would return it. But tonight, he could only hope his mother wouldn't notice how much his stomach hurt. Later that evening, as they sat down to a small meal of rice and soup, Ali felt the weight of the wallet again. It was there, resting in his school bag. "What will you do tomorrow?" his mother asked softly. "Your school exams are coming soon. Don't forget to study, okay?" Ali nodded, but his mind was far from exams. It was on the wallet, on Mr. Rahman Malik. His heart beat faster as he imagined what the man might think when he found out the wallet was gone. Would he be angry? Would he ask Ali why he hadn't kept the money? "Mom, I don't know if I'll be able to go to school tomorrow," Ali said slowly. Razia looked up at him, her face tired but full of love. "Don't talk like that, Ali. You are going to school. We'll manage." Ali tried to smile, but his mind was still clouded. He wanted to do the right thing. He always did, but when you're hungry and your family is struggling, doing the right thing sometimes feels like the hardest choice. That night, as Ali lay in bed, listening to the rain, he couldn't stop thinking about the wallet. His mother had fallen asleep next to him. Her breathing was steady, but Ali knew she was probably dreaming about a better life. She always dreamed big, even though they had so little. The wallet was heavy with decisions. He knew what he should do, but he also knew how hard it would be. The money would help so much. Maybe if he kept it, just for a while, they could buy food, pay the bills. His mother would stop worrying. But then again, the name on the card, Rahman Malik. Ali closed his eyes. Tomorrow, he promised himself, he would make the right choice. He would return it. The thought gave him some peace. But as he fell asleep, a thought crept into his mind. What if the man in the black SUV, was looking for him? The morning was cloudy, with heavy rain still falling. Ali had barely slept. His dreams were full of strange men in expensive suits, tall buildings, and dark cars. When he woke up, He felt tired but knew he had to go. Today was the day he would return the wallet to Mr. Rahman Malik, the man on the business card. After breakfast, Ali hurried to get ready for school. His mother was already out, trying to find work. She hadn't asked him about the wallet, and Ali was glad for that. He didn't want to make things harder for her. But the wallet was heavy in his school bag, pressing against his back as he walked to school. It felt like a secret no one else knew, but it also felt like a responsibility. It wasn't just money. It was someone's entire life, all held in a small leather wallet. Ali didn't know exactly where Malik Tech was, but he had heard it was in one of the tallest buildings in the city. The building was impossible to miss. It stood out like a giant amongst all the smaller shops and homes around it. A business center, full of companies, offices, and rich people. As he walked through the busy streets, Ali tried to push away his nerves. He felt small compared to the tall buildings and expensive cars that passed by. His old shoes splashed in the puddles, but he didn't care. The rain kept falling, soaking everything in sight. The closer he got to the building, the bigger it seemed. Malik Tech's headquarters had huge glass windows and bright lights. It looked like something from a movie. Ali swallowed. He had never been in such a fancy place before. He stood outside for a moment, looking up at the giant building. His hand shook as he held the wallet, knowing he was about to do something that could change everything. Taking a deep breath, Ali stepped inside. Inside the building, everything was shiny and cold. The floor was made of polished marble, and the walls were lined with expensive artwork. The smell of fresh coffee filled the air. Rich people in suits moved quickly, talking on phones, typing on computers, or walking to meetings. Ali stood still for a moment, feeling out of place. His old backpack and wet shoes felt even worse here. He stepped forward, looking for a receptionist. A woman in a business suit sat at a desk near the entrance. She was typing on her computer, but looked up when Ali approached. Her eyes widened when she saw him standing there, dripping wet and holding his bag. "Yes?" she asked with a raised eyebrow. Her tone was polite, but there was a hint of confusion. "Can I help you?" Ali felt his mouth go dry. This wasn't going to be easy. I need to see Mr. Rahman Malik, please," Ali said, trying to sound confident, but his voice trembled. "I have something of his." The receptionist raised an eyebrow. "Mr. Malik is a very busy man," she said. "Why don't you tell me what this is about? Maybe I can help." Ali hesitated. The wallet felt so heavy in his bag. "It's his wallet," Ali said quietly. "I found it yesterday. It has money and his business card in it. I want to return it." The receptionist looked at him for a moment, as if she didn't believe him. But then her eyes shifted to the school bag he was clutching tightly. She clicked a button on her phone and spoke into the receiver. "Please hold on a moment." Ali stood there, heart pounding in his chest. Was this the right thing to do? What if the man didn't even care about a simple wallet? The woman spoke again, still holding the phone to her ear. "I've called someone to check on this," she said. "Please wait here." Ali nodded and found a chair to sit in. His heart was racing. He looked around the lobby, still feeling out of place. He could hear people talking about business deals and meetings. The office seemed like another world, one he would never be a part of. Minutes passed. Ali started to feel more nervous. What was taking so long? What if they didn't believe him? What if he was making a mistake? Finally, a man in a dark suit walked toward him. He was tall, with a serious face. "Are you Ali?" he asked, his voice deep and calm. "Mr. Malik asked me to meet you." Ali stood up quickly, his legs shaking. "Yes," he said, his voice small. I have Mr. Malik's wallet." The man smiled slightly. "Follow me. Mr. Malik is waiting for you." Ali followed the man through the large building, his footsteps echoing on the polished floor. The walls seemed to close in as they walked down the long hallways. Ali's heart was pounding louder with every step. They reached a large office at the end of the hallway. The man knocked on the door, and a voice from inside called, "Come in." The man opened the door and stepped aside, letting Ali enter. Inside was Rahman Malik himself. He was sitting behind a large desk, reading something on his tablet. He didn't look up when Ali entered, but the man beside him spoke. "This is the boy, Mr. Malik. He found your wallet." Rahman Malik looked up slowly. His face was calm, serious. He didn't smile or show any surprise. He looked at Ali like a man who had seen it all before. "Thank you for returning it," Malik said, his voice soft but powerful. "Not many people would do that." Ali stood frozen, the wallet still in his hands. I just wanted to return it to you," he said quietly, his voice trembling. "I didn't want to keep the money. It wasn't mine." Malik's eyes softened for a moment. "You did the right thing," he said. "You're a good boy." Ali felt a wave of relief, but then the question he had been wondering all morning came to his mind. "Mr. Malik, the black SUV, was that you? I saw it outside the bus stop. Was someone looking for me?" Malik raised an eyebrow. "The SUV? No, that wasn't me." He paused, studying Ali for a moment. "But maybe someone will be looking for you soon." Ali felt a chill run down his spine. "What do you mean?" Malik smiled slightly. "Let's just say, your honesty hasn't gone unnoticed." Ali's heart skipped a beat when Mr. Malik spoke. "Your honesty hasn't gone unnoticed." The words hung in the air, heavy and mysterious. Ali felt a shiver run down his spine. He didn't know what to expect next. Was he in trouble? Or had he done something right? Malik leaned back in his chair, his hands folded in front of him. His eyes, dark and steady, never left Ali. "You've done something rare," Malik continued, his voice calm. "Most people would have kept the wallet and the money, but you chose to do the right thing, and that deserves respect." Ali stood there, unsure of what to say. He hadn't done it for praise. He had simply done what felt right. But hearing these words from someone like Mr. Malik made him feel both proud and small at the same time. He had never expected this kind of attention. "I didn't want the money," Ali said quietly, his voice almost a whisper. "I just wanted to return it. I didn't think it was right to keep it." Malik smiled, his expression softening. "And that's what makes you different," he said. "But sometimes, doing the right thing brings unexpected rewards." Ali blinked, confused. Rewards. He had only returned the wallet. He never expected anything more. Mr. Malik stood up from his desk, his movements slow and deliberate. "Come with me," he said, gesturing toward the door. "I want to show you something." Ali hesitated but followed Mr. Malik down the hallway. They passed other offices, filled with busy workers and glass walls. Everything in the building seemed to hum with energy, but Ali felt like he was walking in a dream. It was hard to believe he was here, in this fancy building, walking beside a man who seemed to own the world. They arrived at a door at the end of the hall. Mr. Malik opened it and stepped inside. Ali followed. The room was large, with a huge desk and floor-to-ceiling windows that looked out over the city. There were several comfortable chairs in the room, and on the desk, there was a single leather box. Malik walked over to the box and opened it. Inside was a watch, a sleek, expensive-looking timepiece. "This is a gift," Mr. Malik said, turning to Ali. "It's not just a watch. It's a symbol of something. A symbol of what's possible when you make the right choice." Ali stood there, stunned. A gift," he repeated, his voice barely above a whisper. Malik nodded, still smiling. "Yes, this watch represents more than just time. It represents opportunities. Opportunities that can come to you when you choose honesty over greed, when you choose to do what's right, even when it's hard." Ali couldn't believe it. He was just a poor boy who lived in a small house with his mother. He had never imagined that a man like Rahman Malik, the CEO of a huge company, would give him anything. I don't deserve this," Ali said, his voice shaking. I only returned the wallet. I didn't expect anything. Malik walked over to him, placing the watch in Ali's hand. You deserve more than you think, he said softly. This is not just about the wallet. It's about your character. You may not see it now, but I see something in you. Something that tells me you are going to do great things one day. Ali looked at the watch in his hand. It was beautiful, with a silver band and a dark face, gleaming with tiny golden hands. He couldn't believe it. Was this really happening? He had come here to return a lost wallet, and now he was holding a gift from one of the richest men in the country. But why? Ali asked, still confused. Why are you doing this? Malik paused, as if considering how to answer. Because I see potential in you, he said. I see someone who understands the value of doing what's right, even when no one is watching. In a world full of greed, that's rare. And I believe rare things deserve to be protected. Ali didn't know what to say. He had always wanted a better life, but he never imagined it would come like this. Holding the watch felt like holding a piece of someone else's world. He couldn't quite understand how this man could see something in him. Mr. Malik stepped back and looked at Ali with a thoughtful expression. Take the watch, he said. Wear it as a reminder of what you've done today. And know that it will be a reminder for me as well. People like you don't come around often. Ali stared down at the watch in his hand. He felt overwhelmed, both grateful and unworthy. He had always struggled to get by, never thinking that anything good would come his way. But now, standing in this room with Mr. Malik, it felt like the world had opened up to him in a way he couldn't understand. I don't know what to say, Ali muttered, looking up at the man. This is too much. Malik smiled kindly. You don't need to say anything. Just remember that choices matter. The right choice can change your life. This watch will remind you of that every day. Ali stood there for a moment, still holding the watch, unsure if this was all real. But as he looked at Mr. Malik's calm face, he realized that this wasn't just about the watch. It was about the respect that came with making the right choice. The respect that Mr. Malik had shown him was worth more than any money or gift. Thank you, Ali finally whispered, his voice full of gratitude. I will never forget this. Malik gave him one last look, a look that said more than words could express. I believe you won't. As Ali turned to leave, he felt something change inside him. He wasn't just a poor boy anymore. He was someone who had chosen to do what was right. And that, he realized, was the greatest gift of all. Ali left the office feeling like he was walking through a dream. The weight of the watch in his pocket was heavy, yet light at the same time. His heart pounded in his chest as he stepped back onto the streets of the city. The tall buildings around him seemed less intimidating now, as if they were just part of a world he could now understand. He had come here to return a wallet, not to change his life. But somehow, in that office, everything had shifted. The gift Mr. Malik had given him, the watch, felt like a symbol, not just of his actions, but of the possibility of a new future. He could still see Mr. Malik's face, his calm expression, as he spoke about the power of making the right choice. Ali's mind raced with thoughts. He hadn't expected anything like this. He didn't know what to do with the watch, or the attention that had come with it. He wasn't ready for it, but somehow, it felt like he had no choice now. He had made a decision. He had done the right thing by returning the wallet. And now it seemed like the world was asking him to step into something bigger. The rain had stopped, but the streets were still wet, reflecting the bright city lights. Ali's shoes splashed as he walked, but he didn't mind. His thoughts were far away. He kept looking down at the watch in his pocket, wondering if he had made the right decision by accepting it. He didn't want to seem ungrateful, but he also didn't want to feel like he owed Mr. Malik anything. The watch wasn't why he had returned the wallet. As Ali walked, he passed the busy shops and people hurrying home after a long day. He was just another face in the crowd, yet he felt different. There was a weight to his steps, a sense of responsibility that hadn't been there before. His thoughts drifted back to the simple life he had at home. His small room, his mother working hard every day. This life, this world of luxury and business suits, felt far away. But it didn't seem so unreachable anymore. When he reached the bus stop, Ali took a seat on the bench and pulled out the watch again. He studied it carefully, admiring the gleaming silver face, the smooth band, and the way it caught the light. It was beautiful, nothing like anything he had ever seen before. He wasn't used to owning things like this. It felt like something out of a movie. But why had Mr. Malik given it to him? Was it just because he had returned the wallet? Or was there something more? Ali couldn't shake the feeling that this was only the beginning. As he sat there, lost in thought, a black SUV pulled up near the curb. The dark windows made it impossible to see who was inside. The car stopped, and Ali froze, his heart skipping a beat. The same SUV. The one he had seen the day before, when he found the wallet. It had stopped at the bus stop then, too. The door opened, and a man stepped out. He was tall, wearing a black suit and sunglasses, even though the sun had already set. He walked toward Ali, his footsteps deliberate and heavy. Ali felt a chill run down his spine. He wasn't sure if this man was connected to Mr. Malik, but the feeling of déjà vu was impossible to ignore. The man stopped in front of Ali and looked down at him. There was a brief moment of silence before he spoke, his voice low and smooth. "Are you Ali?" he asked, his eyes scanning the boy carefully. Ali nodded, unsure of how to respond. His stomach tightened. "Yes," he said, his voice shaky. I'm Ali." The man didn't smile, but he didn't look threatening either. He was simply studying Ali, as if weighing something. Was this another test? "I was told to give you a message," the man said, his voice calm and controlled. "Mr. Malik would like to speak with you again. He's interested in something you might not have expected." Ali's mind raced. Mr. Malik. He hadn't expected to hear from him again so soon. He had just left his office. "I don't understand," Ali said, trying to steady his nerves. "Why would Mr. Malik want to talk to me again?" The man's expression remained unreadable. "Let's just say that Mr. Malik believes you have potential that could be valuable to him." He paused, studying Ali's reaction. "He wants you to come with me." Ali looked at the man, confused and nervous. He wasn't sure what to think. Was this a good thing? Or was it a mistake? He had no idea what Mr. Malik's intentions were, but one thing was clear. He wasn't being left with a simple choice. The door was opening for him, but he wasn't sure if he was ready to walk through it. I don't know," Ali said, his voice small. "I don't understand what you mean." The man stepped closer, his eyes softening just a little. "Mr. Malik has a way of seeing things others don't. He saw something in you, Ali. Something rare. Don't turn your back on that." Ali stood up slowly, his mind spinning. Mr. Malik saw something in him. Was that even possible? He was just a poor boy from a small neighborhood, someone who had always tried to stay out of trouble. "I don't know if I'm ready for this," Ali said quietly, almost to himself. He didn't know if he could trust Mr. Malik or this strange man in front of him. He had already done so much by returning the wallet, but now it seemed like he was standing at the edge of something far bigger than he had ever imagined. The man nodded, as if he had expected that answer. "You don't have to decide right now. But remember this, life is full of choices, and sometimes the biggest opportunities come from the most unexpected places." Ali swallowed hard. He had never been faced with such a decision before. But he knew one thing for sure. His life was changing, and he couldn't go back to what it was before. Ali sat in the back of the black SUV, his hands tightly gripping the seat. The man in the front seat, still silent, drove smoothly through the city streets, the lights flashing by in a blur. Ali's mind was racing, and he couldn't focus on anything else but the strange turn his life had taken in the last 24 hours. He had come from a simple, quiet life, and now he was riding in a luxury vehicle, heading to God knows where, to meet someone who was already changing his life. He had never been this far from home, and the thought of what awaited him only added to his nerves. The car turned off the main road and into a quieter, more secluded area. The buildings were taller here, the streets cleaner, the houses larger. This was a different world, a world Ali had only seen in magazines or on TV. And yet, here he was, caught in the middle of it, unsure of what his next move should be. Finally, the car pulled into the driveway of a large modern mansion. It was stunning, with tall windows and a grand entrance. The driveway was lined with trees, and there were several luxury cars parked outside, each more expensive than the last. Ali swallowed hard. This was Mr. Malik's world. The man in the front seat didn't say anything as he parked the car and turned off the engine. He simply opened his door and stepped out. Ali hesitated for a moment before following him. As he stepped out into the cool night air, he couldn't help but feel small in such a vast, beautiful place. His sneakers felt out of place on the smooth stone steps leading to the front door. The door opened before they could even ring the bell. A tall woman, dressed in an elegant suit, stood in the doorway. Her expression was calm, yet her eyes seemed to take in every detail of Ali's appearance. "Mr. Malik is expecting you," she said, stepping aside to let them in. Ali followed the man through the door and into the grand foyer of the mansion. The floors were polished marble, and the walls were adorned with expensive artwork. Ali felt out of place, like he didn't belong here. He tried to keep his head down, his heart pounding in his chest. They made their way down a long hallway, passing rooms that looked like something out of a movie. Finally, they arrived at a large study, where Mr. Malik was waiting behind a massive desk. His suit was immaculate, and he looked every bit the powerful businessman he was known to be. "Ah, Ali," Mr. Malik said, his voice calm and inviting. "Come in. Please, have a seat." Ali hesitated but sat down across from Mr. Malik. The man's eyes were kind, but there was something in them that made Ali uneasy. He wasn't sure what to expect, but he knew this wasn't going to be an ordinary conversation. "Thank you for coming," Mr. Malik said, leaning back in his chair. "I'm sure you have a lot of questions, and I'm happy to answer them. But first, I want to say that I admire your honesty." Ali nodded slowly, unsure of what to say. Why was he here? What did Mr. Malik want from him? Mr. Malik smiled softly, as if he could read Ali's thoughts. "You're wondering why I asked you to come here, why I gave you the watch, why I'm offering you something more than you expected." He paused, his expression turning serious. "The truth is, Ali, I've been looking for someone like you for a long time." Ali's confusion deepened. "Someone like me?" "Yes," Mr. Malik said. "Someone who understands the value of doing the right thing, even when it's difficult. Someone who doesn't let their circumstances define who they are. You returned that wallet because you knew it was the right thing to do. That is rare, and that's why I want to help you." Ali looked down at his hands, unsure of what to think. "I didn't do it for help," he said quietly. I didn't think it was right to take the money." Mr. Malik leaned forward, his eyes intense. "I know, but that's exactly what makes you special. You see, honesty is something that many people overlook. In my line of work, I meet a lot of people who are willing to do anything for money, power, or influence. But you, Ali, you're different. You didn't want anything from this situation except to do the right thing." Ali felt a strange mix of pride and fear. He had always known that doing the right thing was important, but he had never thought it would bring him here, sitting in the study of one of the wealthiest men in the country. "I don't understand," Ali said, his voice trembling slightly. "What does this have to do with me? I'm just a boy who found a wallet. I'm not like you." Mr. Malik smiled again, but this time there was a deeper meaning behind it. "That's where you're wrong, Ali," he said. "You are exactly like me. You have the potential to do great things. I see something in you, something I've seen in a few select people over the years. It's a gift. and it's rare. And I want to help you unlock it." Ellie swallowed hard. A gift. What was Mr. Malik talking about? He had never thought of himself as special, never thought he had anything that could make him stand out. But the way Mr. Malik was looking at him, it made him feel like he was on the edge of something much bigger than he could ever imagine. "I want to offer you an opportunity, Ali," Mr. Malik said, his voice soft but firm. "I want to offer you a chance to change your life. I can help you get into a school that will teach you everything you need to know to succeed. I can help you build a future you never dreamed possible. But first, I need to know if you're ready." Ali felt his heart race. Could this be real? Could he really have a chance to change his life like this? I don't know if I'm ready," Ali said, his voice barely above a whisper. "I've never had anything like this before. I don't know if I can handle it." Mr. Malik's gaze softened. "That's why I'm here, Ali. I believe in you, and I'll be here to help guide you, but you have to take the first step. Are you ready to begin?" Ali took a deep breath. He didn't know if he was ready, but he also knew one thing. This was the chance of a lifetime. "I'll try," Ali said, his voice full of uncertainty, but also a hint of determination. Mr. Malik nodded, a satisfied smile spreading across his face. "That's all I ask." Ali sat in the study, his heart racing. The weight of Mr. Malik's words echoed in his mind. "Are you ready?" The question repeated over and over in his head. Was he ready? Could he truly take the leap into this new life Mr. Malik was offering him? The room felt colder now, even though the fire in the corner crackled softly. Ali couldn't shake the feeling that everything was changing in an instant. He had never imagined this kind of future for himself. A future with a mansion. A future with opportunities he had only heard of in stories. But was he ready for it? Was he ready to leave behind everything he knew? Mr. Malik sat quietly, watching him, waiting for Ali to answer. The air in the room seemed thick, as if time itself had slowed down. Ali glanced around the room, trying to distract himself, but his eyes always found their way back to Mr. Malik's steady gaze. "Take your time," Mr. Malik said calmly, sensing Ali's hesitation. "This isn't a decision you should rush." Ali took a deep breath. His mind was racing, torn between the life he knew and the life that was being handed to him. He thought about his family, his school, his friends. They were all so far from this world, a world of luxury and power. But what if this was his chance to change everything? What if this was the moment he could finally make a difference in his life? "Why me?" Ali asked, his voice breaking through the silence. "Why do you think I'm the one to do this? I'm just a regular kid." Mr. Malik's smile deepened, as if he had been waiting for this question. He leaned forward, his voice soft but firm. "You're not just a regular kid, Ali. You've proven that by returning the wallet. That act of honesty, that integrity, that's what sets you apart. Most people would have taken the money, but you didn't. And that's the kind of character I look for. Not just in business, but in life. That's what makes you special." Ali's chest tightened. He had never seen himself as special. He had always thought of himself as ordinary, like everyone else in his neighborhood. But now, sitting in this grand study, hearing Mr. Malik's words, he began to wonder, could he really be different? "I don't know if I'm ready for all of this," Ali said, his voice quiet but filled with uncertainty. "I've never been around people like you before. I don't know how to fit into your world." Mr. Malik nodded, understanding. "I know it's a big step, but you don't have to be perfect, Ali. You don't have to have all the answers. What matters is that you're willing to learn, to grow. I'll be here to help guide you every step of the way." Ali glanced down at his hands. He could feel the pressure building inside him. This was more than just a chance to live a better life. It was a chance to change everything. It was a chance to escape the struggles he had always known. The thought of school, of struggling to help his family, all of that felt so far away now. But then, another thought hit him. Was he ready to leave behind his old life? His friends, his neighborhood, his family. Would he be able to connect with them if he took this path? Would they understand? Or would they see him as someone different, someone who no longer belonged? He looked up at Mr. Malik, who was still watching him patiently. "I want to make a difference," Ali said, his voice steady now. "I want to do something good, but I don't want to forget where I came from. I don't want to lose myself in all of this." Mr. Malik's expression softened, his eyes kind. "You don't have to lose yourself, Ali. The world you're about to enter doesn't change who you are inside. What matters is that you stay true to your values, your principles. Money and power can change many things, but they can't change the heart of a person who knows what's right. And I believe you know what's right." Ali nodded slowly, feeling a weight lift from his shoulders. For the first time, he felt like he understood something that had always seemed so far away. The idea that success didn't have to come at the cost of his values. He didn't have to become someone else. He could still be the boy who returned the wallet, the boy who did the right thing when no one was looking. "Okay," Ali said, his voice firmer now. "I'm ready. I'll take the chance. I'll work hard. I'll do whatever it takes." Mr. Malik smiled, a genuine, warm smile that lit up his face. "I knew you would, Ali. You've made the right choice. This is just the beginning of a new chapter in your life." Ali felt a mix of excitement and nervousness, but the fear that had gripped him earlier seemed to fade. He was ready to take that step, and for the first time in his life, he felt like he wasn't just dreaming about a better future. He was about to make it happen. "I'll support you every step of the way," Mr. Malik added. "But remember, success isn't just about the destination. It's about how you get there. Always stay grounded. Always remember where you came from." Ali smiled, feeling a sense of pride swelling inside him. He had made a decision that would change his life forever. He didn't know exactly where this new path would lead, but he knew one thing. He was ready to face whatever challenges came his way. As Ali stood up to leave, Mr. Malik shook his hand firmly. "Good luck, Ali. I'll be watching, but I have no doubt you'll succeed." Ali walked out of the study, his heart lighter than it had been in hours. As he stepped outside into the cool night air, he looked up at the stars above. He didn't know what tomorrow would bring, but he was no longer afraid. He was ready for it.